In December, end of the year, I was chosen by Binance Bulgaria's special award of audience. Everyone can apply for the up to $10,000 guarantee from our side to build anything on top of Crankk. Our main goal is not to sell hardware on overprice like in different projects like Airbnb and Uber, to use what is on the market already. 99.8% of all transactions on Kadena is made by Crankk because Crankk is fully operate on chain.
Hello everyone, Daniel from DePIN Hub over here. This episode is brought to you by Peak, the blockchain for real-world applications and home of DePIN. If you think it's time for Web3 to get real, check out their website at peak.network. That's peaq.network. Hello everyone, Daniel from DePIN Hub over here, and today we have the pleasure to have Milan Minev from Crankk, a Bulgarian DePIN project that's actually revolutionizing the IoT sector of DePIN. And yeah, man, thanks so much for joining. We've been speaking for quite some time already, and it's a pleasure to finally have you on the podcast, right? Let's get started by you introducing yourself and your role at Crankk.
Thank you to have you. Nice to be on DePIN Hub broadcast. And my name is Milan Minev. I'm Chief Operating Officer of Crankk. What I can say for me, I'm almost 10 years, more than 10 years in the crypto world. And for the last little bit more than 4 years, mainly in DePIN. We call it now DePIN, yeah, but I've been around the DePIN projects the last 4 years, and I'm owning some of the biggest community in Bulgaria. I'm from Bulgaria originally, and I'm helping to a lot of people in DePIN projects, in different projects, not only about Crankk. In December, end of the year, I was chosen by Binance Bulgaria's special award of audience based on my help of people around Bulgaria in different DePIN projects. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome, and congratulations. How is the Bulgarian crypto ecosystem?
It's a pretty nice one because in Bulgaria we love to learn fast, to be as soon as possible in all new projects on the market, and everyone have a really good screening time through the days, and everyone looking here and there for new opportunities. And Bulgarian people easily find different projects to join, like Crankk. A lot of people from Bulgaria found Crankk, and they participate. And
yeah, I think Bulgarians, similar to Brazilians, are very early adopters to technology, right? They gotta try new things, gotta always be on top of what's happening.
We like to take the risk, to jump on new things, and we have crypto meetups in Bulgaria every month, one in Sofia, in our capital, and every month, end of the month, one in Varna, in Crypto Bar Varna. And this helps the community to be up to date with the latest projects, latest news, and really nice community members and projects represent their work. And we have the space where to share our knowledge.
Nice. You are based in Varna, right?
Right now I'm in Varna. I'm living in Varna right now. Yes.
I heard it. I haven't been. I've been many times to Sofia, but I heard it's a beautiful city next to the ocean, right?
Yeah, no, next to the Black Sea. It's not the ocean.
Yes, sorry. Yes, exactly. That the water, let's say. Cool, man. Yeah, awesome. Let's start talking about Crankk. Let's get cranking, I guess, right?
Let's crank it up.
Let's crank it up. Yes, exactly. Can you talk about the company? What's the project and what's the core mission of the Crankk?
Of course, 2.5 years ago, like any other projects that I'm looking a new project on the market, I found Crankk. Was the first week of their Discord was made, and the founder and CEO of Crankk, Peter Varga, was one-man show. He put everything from his side, his knowledge, to build the project. And like me, I'm always looking for new projects to jump on, to risk. And I just started to communicate with Peter, and in a couple of days, he invited me to join to the team. And I share my experience with Helium, my experience with Hivemapper, and lately with Natix, with GateNet, with other DePIN projects. As I said, I'm coming from DePIN community, and I'm from the community mostly. When I start to speak with Peter to understand what is Crankk in first days, because I bought two gateways in the early days, was hosted gateways for testing purpose in USA, because he's living in USA. Our company is registered in USA, and I bought two gateways without at the middle of the night in Europe time. Start to chat with Peter, and I was 12 and 13 gateways on the network. I never been so early in project. Maybe in Hive Mapper I was really early, but later on. And when I understand what Peter tried to achieve to make it as an open source, everything to be on chain, I never heard till this moment. I didn't know about Kadena, and yeah, Kadena, a new blockchain for me, Crankk, a new project for me, and a lot of things need to be learned here and there. It's totally different from any other project. And yeah, in early days was Peter and me and some community members. But now, 2 years and a half after the start, we're 29 people's team members in Crankk. And the main idea of Crankk is to be open source. But later on, I will explain what we mean and what we try to achieve as a goal.
What kind of problem is Crankk trying to achieve? Like you said, it's a IoT network, is a camera for cars. What is Crankk? If you had to explain for like a 5-year-old.
we call it a little bit like a full IoT, because Crankk it's built on our own operating system, Crankk OS. Our core development teams, they built Crankk OS from ground zero, and we reverse engineer more than 36, 7, 8. We add every day new gateways on our support list, but we reverse engineer all these different LoRa and IoT gateways from different manufacturers by ourselves in-house, without the blueprint, without the partnerships with the vendors. The main idea is all projects that build IoT networks like Chirp Wireless or like Helium or any other project like TTN, Crankk to provide an operating system that you can use your gateway to participate not only in Crankk, but to fully open the doors to use your single board computer. Doesn't matter it's a Raspberry Pi or it's a custom single board computer or it's a Rockchip or a Rockpi. We build our operating system and we provide the solutions to the users to participate in Crankk as an IoT project. But Crankk is not only LoRa connectivity, because in our roadmap we have as well the Bluetooth, BLZ connectivity, Wi-Fi connectivity for the sensors, because as well, not all sensors using the LoRa, and the manufacturers, they don't have exactly the standardized procedure. Let's say 5 years ago, one manufacturer started with the LoRa. Now they change it to the Wi-Fi connectivity, and for all these different sensor type of sensors and type of connectivity, need to have the middleman, the gateway. And we would like to achieve our goal to provide a one-stop shop for all kinds of sensors, to provide the LoRa connectivity, Bluetooth connectivity, and the wireless connectivity. As well, the storage. Because of that, we call it more like a full IoT project. We're not focused only on the LoRa, we're focused on the entire picture of the IoT. And the idea of open source software, later on I will explain as well why we open the doors and we give full access to the users to use their own hardware. Our main goal is not to sell hardware on overprice like in different projects like Airbnb and Uber, to use what is on the market already. And if you have the hardware, you can use Crankk OS for free, not need to pay anything. You don't need to participate in Crankk project at all, but you can use Crankk OS for free for multiple projects.
That's very interesting. So can you say that like what you guys are building actually, the main USP is the Crankk OS? The IP that you guys are building is like the Crankk OS that can be like an open source software that can run multiple protocols, right? And that also I can do multi-mining, right? You said like you mentioned, you can have LoRa, but you can do Crankk, but you can also do Helium. How does that work?
Yes, our main idea, like most of our core developers are software engineers and hardware engineers, embedded engineers, and we would like to provide a SaaS solutions for the business endpoint users, and we would like to have easy one-click solution for the users that would like to have IoT in their houses or in their business. because in Crankk we do not provide only the network, we do not provide only the LNS connectivity, the LoRaWAN network servers. We provide all in one. That means the user can go on our user dashboard or in the future in the mobile app and add the sensor, and the user can control the sensor through the mobile app or the user dashboard with all visualization, graphics, data, historical data, charts. It's not need to use third-party partners to utilize your hardware. Now, right now, it's on the staging environment. The sensors it will be released as an alpha version, because Crankk it's built on chip stack 2 years and a half ago, more than 2 years and a half ago. We have the LoRa connectivity from day one, but to use it as a public accessible function, we need to add all to build the entire cloud infrastructure, the entire communication, the UI UX, the front end for the users. And right now, in the next couple of weeks, we will release the first version that users can onboard their sensors for free on Crankk, and to see how it's work. And they don't need to go anywhere else in other third-party projects. So just go to Crankk user dashboard, add the sensors, and you can see all the data, all information, everything live. About the Crankk OS, yeah, the main idea of to build the Crankk OS was to open the doors for all this hardware that they have locked operating system, not accessible operating system. And Crankk it's a open source kind of operating system, but it's under license agreements. That means we do not share the source of the code, the source of the code in GitHub, and can be reproduced and used from third parties for their own. This is the pros and cons for our operating system, because we give our operating system itself, it's open source inside, and it's root accessible, but you can't use it and resell it from your site like your own product. If we share the GitHub and we share the privacy terms and privacy and policy, yes, you can follow them, but it's Crankk OS, it's built for the community, it's built by the community. I mean, the community asks, can we have better multiplexer? Can we have the better packet forwarder? Can we use to add different projects? Yes, we give the chance, because we are community guided projects and we follow the community. But Crankk OS, it's root accessible, and you can use it. I believe you check it by yourself as well.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think it's really cool. I think the way that you guys are doing, and the speed as well, right? Like I see the progress is quite impressive. Like things coming up every day. Looking, if you go to the crank.io website, you can check all the other like helium devices that you can, you guys did the reverse engineering to port it to the Crankk ecosystem. That was really, really impressive. And yeah, it's super cool. So one thing that I saw also, Crank's operating on Kadena, right? Kadena is kind of like a blockchain that is trying to get, I would say, more DePIN projects. What is the relationship of you guys with Kadena? And what do you think is the main benefit of projects using Kadena for building a DePIN project?
First of all, Crankk is it's grantee of Kadena, and Crankk is the biggest project on Kadena based on TX on the blockchain. 99.8% of all transactions on Kadena is made by Crankk, because Crankk is fully operate on chain. The entire communication, the beaconing, the witnessing cycles, the consensus node activity, the affiliate system, the Crankk card, everything what we've built, we mainly focus to build on chain. The absolutely main idea of Crankk to be automated on chain project that is not need our sysadmins or DevOps to be 24/7 to monitoring, to look after the entire project. No, right now, like we have the interview for the last 24 hours. I believe the devs communicate in our channels mainly for the new features and implementations, but we do not communicate about the blockchain side or the smart contract or the automation, because everything will run smoothly. What's the difference with the Kadena compared to other blockchains? First of all, Kadena it's a blockchain with 20 blockchains right now. It's a multi-chain blockchain. It's a little bit different than others, and Crankk utilize all 20 chains. In the first 5,000 and approximately 5,000 gateways, we start on chain 0. After that, we move to chain 19. And Crankk utilize the entire 20 chains on Kadena, but Kadena provide infinity scalability. They can open another 20 or 100 chains. This is something that it's new for the users, because if they bought a license, Crankk license on chain 19, to be able to participate with other gateways on chain 0 or chain in the future chain 18, chain 17, and etc., you need to have a Kadena on all chains in your wallet, because in your wallet you have 20 chains right now, to be able to pay the gas fees. Like I said, Crankk is on blockchain, on chain, and everything that's happening with the proof network participation or with the consensus node event is happening on the chain, and you need to pay the gas fee. And the low gas fee on Kadena, 0.0005 Kadena per transaction, give us the opportunity to keep Crankk entirely on chain. We do not need to be off chain to use the oracles or to use servers to the LoRa connectivity. It's centralized, but we use the blockchain as much as possible to be Crankk to be decentralized.
I remember Helium, when they started, they had their own layer one, and I used to run a lot of nodes of the layer one, and it was okay when there was a few thousand devices on the network. As soon as it starts scaling, and I mean, I don't remember what was the time, but 100, 200, 300,000 devices on the network, and everything for all those devices are being recorded on chain. It was a bit of a pain to maintain. There's a lot of data. I think before the Solana migration, there was around, I don't know, a couple hundred gigabytes per day being added to the database. And do you guys see any problem with that, or if you would end up getting to this amount of gateways outside?
We don't have this kind of problem, because we have consensus nodes that's following the blockchain, and the consensus node to wake up the proof network participation nodes to send the beaconing to confirm the witnessing. We do not the Kadena nodes, they following the blockchain. Crankk project utilize the Kadena nodes in the way that the consensus node is following the smart contract, and once because the beaconing cycle on Crankk is right now at 6 hours, and we have 190 consensus nodes, I believe, right now, and each consensus node following the blockchain and the gateways. If the gateway didn't beacon in 6 hours, send the ping to beacon. After that, collect the data for the witness and send everything on the chain. It's recorded on the chain. But we don't have this kind of issue, because Kadena provide us infinity scalability, and we don't want to be in the situation like Solana had the congestion right now, I believe. And once we see that the chain 0, when we start Crankk, start to be, let's say, more than half of the usage is utilized by Crankk, we move to chain 19. And again, if we see that is it possible in near future the chain 19 to be congested, we just move to chain 18. And in this way, we don't have the issue for the congestion and to send this huge data. Just move the chains. It's Crankk use Kadena like the multi-chains like to use BTC and Ethereum in the same time and to make the connectivity. And we managed to make the multi-chain connectivity, and the gateways on chain 19 and chain 0, they communicate and interact each others.
PIC is a layer 1 blockchain designed to power DePINs. Why do DePINs choose to build on PIC? It's fast, scalable, low cost, offer builders are ready to deploy DePIN SDK, and is multi-chain. So when you build on PIC, you're building for all Web3. PIC is home for the fastest growing DePIN projects, with more than 100,000 vehicles and devices deployed, over a dozen DePINs already building, and the world-leading device manufacturers such as Boss partner with them. Think of building a DePIN? PIC has a grant program for DePIN builders. If you're listening to this, remember, you're early. The PIC network will launch in the first half of 2024. Check out PIC's channels for more details and links in the podcast description. Yeah, one thing that I'd like to also ask you about, because you mentioned proof of network participation, right? Is this similar to the proof of coverage that Helium has? How does that work and how is it different?
Absolutely, I can say it's almost the same. The biggest difference that proof network participation is happening on chain. It's 100% on chain, and the consensus nodes are on chain. This is the huge difference. We do not control them. The smart contract and the consensus node follow the blockchain, and they look after the nodes. It's absolutely decentralized. I can't say that it's a big difference, another big difference, but it's the mainly that we're focused, as I say, to stay on chain, to utilize the blockchain as much as possible. And in the same way, they beacon in 6 hours. The difference that right now on Crankk, it's one beacon can have up to five witness on per beacon, and is not based on fast response. It's based on the block before the block is closed on the chain. The gateways need to respond on their for their witnessing of this beacon, and the connectivity need to be stable, but it's not about the milliseconds. It's more like a first come first serve in the random way, because it's the blockchain. You know how it's work, but it's not exactly 100% in the way that you send it first and you will be the first. It's more in random way. Just you need to have the stable connectivity and to confirm before the block to be closed.
Yeah, no, I don't think this idea that Helium implemented about the first ones to respond in terms of milliseconds is a good way, right? People like hacking the ports on the devices to try to gain a little bit of advantage. I think it added more friction than actually helped. But yeah, I mean, they're
What
trying.
Peter told me 2.5 years ago, we need to make Crankk in the way that we do not motivate users to game the system. And because of that, we try to make it as much fair and transparent for everyone, and not need people to game or lie somehow to make more. Because of that, we built Crankk ranking system, and Crankk ranking system is based on unique LoRa traffic. In Crankk, we have the locations for the export. We provide the GPS as an add-on on your gateway to provide your location, and we don't need to know exactly your location, because Crankk is built and based on unique LoRa coverage. If you claim that you're in Varna, let's say, but you're hearing Radio Sofia, that means you're not in Varna, you're in Sofia. And our ranking system is based on what LoRa data traffic you forwarding to the server, to our servers. And if your data, it's let's say it's one data packet per day, that means your gateway is maybe in the basement, or maybe it's in the middle of your apartment, and it's not providing a real good coverage. And in this situation, Crankk give you the chance that gateways on the top of the roof, the gateways on the middle of the building, or under -3 level of the building can provide unique coverage. Because if you put a gateway on, let's say, in one mall on trade center on -2 level, and you can provide the coverage for the parking sensors or for the lights, for everything, you provide unique coverage that no one else provide as a coverage. And we reward the ranking system. It's based on this unique coverage that you provide for the network. And yeah, we have a different approach. It's everything in Crankk. It's more about the community, and we ask always the community.
Yeah, exactly. I really like this approach, to be honest. How many devices do you have in the network right now?
At the moment, approximately more than 6,000 gateways. We're not in the way to look fast grow, because first of all, we're not 100% ready with our entire implementation. Crankk it's more a business than a crypto project. First of all, Peter is LoRa's engineer, and he has experience with LoRa business in Hungary, in Budapest. He is originally from Hungary. We try to first to deliver what the features and the functionality need to be done on the market before we advertise it. Like if you check our website, we don't have the white paper, because we do not use the white paper as a marketing tool. We'll place our white paper once we finish the base of the project, and we say and state it. This is the way how Crankk works. And after that, we go to the external audit. And with these two documents, we can say, this is Crankk, this is our audit, and we can go to the success. Otherwise, we don't believe in fast lane track, fast hype, to build the project around the hype just to make it shiny packages. No, as I said earlier, we're on the way to release our sensors onboarding, public sensors onboarding, and we're on the way to release the mobile app. Now, yesterday, we released the mandatory of the location and rank version 2.1 that it's updated and it's better for the community. As you say earlier, we release every couple of days new huge updates, and we have a lot in our plates, and we never share information prior, and we just finish the product ready for the public testing, and we share it with the community. After that, we collect the feedback from the community and then update and move forward. This is our approach. It's different than the crypto projects that it's already on the market, just building the hype, looking for VCs. We never attended for any events at all, just some community small events, but we never look. Crankk don't have a VC, any venture capitals, zero funds, only grantees from Kadena, and the entire project is built by the crowdfunding of Kadena users, all Cranksters. Thanks to all Cranksters, it's what we have it right now.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I was going to ask about the roadmap, but I think that's already explains a lot of about that.
No, the roadmap is long one. We have the mobile app to be released. We have the more LoRa gateways to be released that we support to be onboarded on Crankk. The alpha sensors, the alpha version of the sensors onboarding, the ranking system activation, because now the users see their ranking, but the rewards are not not deducted. We have the Oracle nodes. It's like the moment on Crankk we have the proof network participation nodes. It's pump nodes and consensus nodes, and we release the Oracle nodes. We have the wrap tokens. We have the gamification, voting system. A lot of work till end of the year. For the last 2 years and a half, I think we had tough moments and a lot of work. But the start of this year, I realized that we starting to work really hard.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think like I got same for me. Like I think I've been working pretty hard in the past, but then like every year is like more and more work. At least it's an exciting thing, right? You can see what you're building, and you can see the community. You know, we have like when you guys organized, I think an event not so long ago in Sofia, right? Like you see that people coming, it's like the excitement that people believe what you're doing, and you're trying to actually change people's lives and provide something interesting. Do you guys have already some project building on top of it on the sensor side, not on the network side?
On the sensor side, we will provide one-click solution, but everyone is welcome. Right now we have the grant program, and everyone can apply. Till end of the June, it's our first alpha version of the grant program, because later on end of the year we'll open yearly our grantee program. Everyone can apply for the up to $10,000 grantee from our side to build anything on top of Crankk. From our side, in next couple of weeks we will release the basic functionality for the sensors onboarding, and we'll build by ourselves. We don't need the third parties, but every third party is very welcome to use it, to work with us, to build something on top. This is the beauty of Crankk, because every project it's welcome to use our ecosystem, our network, to build on top of Crankk. If you would like to build a CDN content delivery network, just come to us, speak with us, and you can build everything on, let's say, Dockerized your solution, and we can push it over the air on all 6,000 plus gateways, and we have already network with content delivery network. And if you would like to provide any one-of-a-kind solution that can work on Raspberry Pis, Rock Chip, or custom single board computers, it's easy. I would like to share what we're working with different projects, but like P5, Presearch, and Filecoin, and Ator. Yes, and this is the main idea of Crankk, to open the doors for everyone, because we are friendly and open-minded, and we're never been against Helium or ThinkSex. We just give our solution for everyone to use it.
Yeah, no, it's really nice. I've been following the work you guys have been doing with Ator, for example, and it's going to be super cool, just like one click deploy, right? To deploy like an Ator node on 6,000 devices, or all those devices that you can actually run it. I think it's mostly because Ator doesn't really require a lot of resources for that. Yeah, I think it's an amazing work you guys are doing.
Our next update, because Crankk provide 2 years and a half ago the first double mining quote multi-purpose using of your LoRa gateways, because early we start with Helium gateways, and we provide a multiplexer to use Crankk, the gateway for Crankk, for Helium, for ThinkSix, and we was the first one on the market. but we was so heavily overloaded with so many tasks that we give the other projects implementations to the community, and we have in our Discord a dedicated channel, and a lot of YouTubers, influencers make videos on different language, how to add Mysterium, how to add Wingbeats, how to add Gaganode on Crankk. The community asks when Crankk will make it in one-click solution. Yes, we would like to have it as soon as possible, and because of that, we added two more developers to add exactly on this, and in next couple of weeks we will release our first alpha version for one-click solutions for more than 15-20 projects. And the main idea here is not Crankk to make anything from this. We don't want to make money from this. We just give it for the community, and we would like to make the partnerships with all these projects, like to help each other in the DePIN sphere, to be together hand for hands and to work together, because no one else building what we are building. Projects are afraid to be open source. They're afraid to share their knowledge and understanding. Like with Dator, we just say, hey, hello, how are you guys? Let's make it work. Okay, jump on it. And right now we are testing on the alpha stage, and soon will be released for the dev stage to be tested. And then the community can one click install it, like in right now in Crankk. In the local dashboard, you can install Helium with one click. Just click install, and Helium works. And this will be for all projects. More than 50.
Amazing. What is the thing that you're most excited about the future of Crankk?
The most excited, it's the features that the team only know, and the community don't know it, because all the time we are come out of the blue from nowhere with all the solutions. Right now, for the last 2-3 months, we're working really hard on something one of a kind. Web3 implementation will be the first one in the world to provide a solution for this. Like the last year, we've done it and we tested, but it's not publicly released. First one that to finish my sentence for what we're working for the last 3 months, it's a peer-to-peer LoRa connectivity on chain, on Crankk ecosystem, on Kadena, and soon will be released publicly. This is a huge. But something else from the last year that we worked 4-5 months, it's wrap tokens on Kadena built by Crankk, bridgeless, without the smart contract between the Kadena and, let's say, BTC or Ethereum. Peter made it in the way that Ethereum can live on Kadena without breach, and the weakest point of all wrap tokens are the breach of the smart contracts, that they hack them. We made it in the way that Ethereum will live in Kadena, BTC, USDC, Solana, everything. Just we'll call it BTC, like Crankk BTC. And this was made because the main reason was that in USA, on different places, Kadena is not so popular, and not so much exchanges has Kadena, and we need to provide a solution for these users to be able to participate in Crankk. And this one will be the huge release in end of Q2 and start of Q3, I believe. And yeah, a lot of good news will share it in Q2 and Q3 2024.
So where can people go and learn more about Crankk and get up to date with all these updates and everything?
Mainly in our social channels, on our website, in our Discord, and of course in platform aggregators like DePIN Hub, because we share our news in all these kind of platforms, and we need to do it. And we up to date our social channels and our Discord. And like yesterday we had an announcement. Today or tomorrow we will have an announcement. We will open 15 more spots for the consensus nodes, because in Crankk the consensus nodes are restricted 1/30, and for 30 proof network participation nodes, one consensus node can participate, and it's like a lottery first, but it's more like a first come first serve. And today or tomorrow we will release the announcement, and 15 more consensus nodes will be able to be participate in Crankk.
Sweet. Yeah, we're gonna link all the socials on the description of this podcast. Make sure to follow us on YouTube, on Spotify, or anywhere you're listening to this, because your support is very important for us to continue getting great people like Milan in the podcast and other founders, investors, deployers, and everyone that's very excited about the DePIN ecosystem. Well, Milan, thanks so much for joining the podcast. It was a pleasure to have you here, and I hope to have you again. When you guys see the progress in a few months or a year from now, because I think Crankk's a project that I'm very impressed for what you guys are building, and I'm very excited to see where you guys got to go, because the focus that you guys have is impressive. Well, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you very much, Daniel, and thank you very much for DePIN Hub for the opportunity that you give us, and we're here for the community and we work with the community.
Yeah, together, man.
Thank you. Let's crank it up.
Let's crank it up. Bye-bye.